Hi, everybody. Welcome to Queers and Soaps. I'm Tommy, and today I'm joined by Eric, aka Angie.
She's back.
She's back. We're doing another edition of Don't Touch My Grapes, which is our continued Falcon Crest coverage. So I will roll the credits and we'll get right into it. So today we are covering episodes 5 through 7 of season 2. And episode 5 is titled The Expose. I was really proud of myself for taking chase notes. I don't pay attention. But I Chase put up his properties as collateral for Cole's bail bond, which I was like, oh, that was nice. He's being a good father. See, I have lots of things to say about Chase.
Well, he doesn't want his son in jail, and he knows he didn't do it.
Yeah. Richard is determined to make Cole look guilty by printing articles about him in the New Globe.
Yep.
Emma calls from a payphone, and Julia answers. But she hangs up when Angela takes the phone.
Yep. Angie just couldn't let her talk to Julia to find out where she was.
Yeah.
Hello.
Julia? Is it really you?
Emma? Emma, where are you?
Julia, I have been just dialing and dialing. Do you know that it takes 11 numbers to call home from here?
Well, where are you, dear? I'll just
Let
come and
me-
get
let me
you.
talk to her. Emma, darling, this is Mother. Emma? Emma?
So throughout these episodes, you think Angela is concerned about her daughter, but it seems like she's more concerned about the proxy than like where Emma actually is.
Yes. Yep. All about the proxy. I don't think she realizes Chase has it.
Yeah, at some point she does, like, because Chase says it. But
Right.
Maggie asked Vicky about Mario, and I'm like, did they still not break up?
No.
I was like, I was for sure he was gone, and they broke up finally, but they did.
He took his little dog and ran off.
I was like, why are we still talking about him? They broke up 10 times.
Seriously.
My note even says, I think they did.
You never know.
Chase pays Richard a visit to confront him about his story on Cole and Falcon Crest underpaying their laborers.
Yeah. What was underpaying? Was it all the laborers or just the part-timers? Because I thought it was like, yeah, the part-timers like don't have benefits like they should. I don't know. There was all kinds of stuff going on with that.
Yeah. They were like getting paid less and there was no benefits.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cole takes a part-time job working with I put the widowed woman because I couldn't catch her name or I couldn't remember her name at the time, but I got it now. By the time this ended, I got it.
Poor Catherine.
Vicky meets an older man while she's running that helps her with her leg pain and offers her new running shoes. And I was like, here we go. She's back on her bullshit with these older men. We find out later that he's married.
Right.
And we also find out later that he's on the board that I don't even know what the board's called that Chase is a part of.
Yeah. It's Nick.
Nick, right.
Yeah.
Philip traces Emma's phone call to Phoenix, Arizona. Richard and Julia meet for lunch. He says he wants to know more about his sister and his father, and he tries to persuade her into selling her stock in the New Globe because he wants to have more control over the Globe.
Tell me about your work.
I'm an enologist. I'm responsible for all of the aging and blending of the wines at Falcon Crest.
Sounds interesting.
It is.
And you sound devoted.
I am.
Busy.
Much too busy to become involved between you and my mother over the globe.
Have you ever considered selling your stock in the paper?
No.
I could make you a very wealthy woman.
I am a very wealthy woman.
Wealthy enough to leave Falcon Crest. Be honest, Julia. You don't have any interest in publishing. All you want is Tony Compson.
What do you know about my husband?
A good newspaper man knows a little about everything.
I put Melissa sabotages Lance in front of Angela by pretending he's a devoted father to like squash his plans of going to see his friend.
Lori. Yeah. Yeah.
So for a minute with Lori, I was like, I couldn't remember if she was in season 1, and then I'm like, the name Lori sounds familiar, but he's had so many girlfriends that I'm like, which one is this?
It was the one at dinner, but she's recasted.
Okay, I was gonna say, wasn't she blonde?
Yeah, it was that other girl.
The one that you said is like Chase's girlfriend in like season 6
in the future. Yeah. So they recasted her. Yeah, you know what? It's funny because I actually looked it up because I'm like, let me just make sure. And then they did talk about the dinner. She's like, was it the girl that was brought dinner or whatever? And I'm like, okay, so it is supposed to be her. And it's weird because they changed her last name. When I looked up, it was like Lori. It was like Lori Chapman in season 1, and now it's Lori something else. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. I don't know why they would do that, but
they probably figured nobody would watch this more than once, and so they didn't care.
Right. Mm-hmm. No one will be talking about this in 40 years.
Angela thinks that Melissa's having a positive effect on Lance, and I laugh.
Yeah.
Angela, I decided to take your advice. I signed up for a natural childbirth class.
Well, that's wonderful. They can be very helpful.
Lance had some plans, but he's canceling them.
I just hope I can get out my commitments on such a short notice.
Oh, I'm sure you can find the time. I'm just happy that you two are working things out.
Well, I guess if you want to go to that class, it's up to me to take you. But I have business in San Francisco this afternoon. I've asked Charlie not to hold dinner for me.
What are you doing in San Francisco?
The printer has the labels ready for the reserve Chardonnay.
Oh, well, be sure and have them check the stock. Remember what happened last time?
You'll get a full report in the morning.
Melissa, you're having such a positive effect on him.
I always knew fatherhood would bring out the best in him.
Good girl.
Richard takes Chase to see the living conditions of the underpaid Falcon Crest workers.
Mm-hmm.
Lance meets with his ex-girlfriend Lori in San Francisco.
Yes.
And she kind of wants something to do with him because she's just like, Falcon Crest is always going to come first.
Yeah.
This is where she brings up the dinner, and that's kind of where I put the pieces together. I was like, oh, it's the same girl, but I thought she was blonde, but I didn't care enough to look.
Yeah, she was a different person. So it's funny because both the girls from that night were recasted.
Right.
I didn't think about that till now.
Chase demands to see the payroll books from Lance.
Mm-hmm.
Melissa drives by Cole's new job to say that she believes him, that he didn't kill her father.
Yeah.
Chase challenges Angela to be human and see the living conditions of her workers. That was a cute scene because then she's like, bring the car around. Charlie, bring the car around.
Charlie. So we didn't see in any of these episodes. Charlie hasn't been around. He's just talked about.
But yeah, that's the power of his presence. Even when he's not around, we still hear about
him. Seriously.
All right, come with me and see for yourself. You owe these people that much.
It won't make any difference.
You really are afraid to let yourself be human, aren't you?
Charlie?
Yes, Mrs. Channing.
Bring the car around.
Right away.
Lance pretends that he's going to natural childbirth classes with Melissa, but he ends up just dropping her off.
Drops her
He
off.
says, I said I would bring you. I didn't say I would stay.
It's rough.
Cole bonds with Catherine's son playing basketball.
Tyler.
And later on, he and Catherine share a kiss, which raise your hand if you didn't see that one coming.
I know, right?
Chase holds a press conference announcing equal pay for part-time employees and benefits, and Angela arrives late and takes credit for it.
That was great. Maggie tries to go off on her, but she's like, Maggie.
Philip finds out Emma left Arizona on a bus and that she's being looked for by someone that could work for Richard. And the episode ends with Richard saying that he's on a mission to have Cole convicted. And it's funny, every time I saw his companion, all I could think was Shannon Tweed. I didn't even care like what her real name, like her character name was.
Shannon Tweed. Right.
I really like this episode.
Yeah, it was a good one. There was a lot of stuff going on. I put Vicky continues her fitness journey.
She was running in tennis shoes. Her feet must have been killing her.
I guess she does.
I think Maggie said that must be 5 miles. I'm like, 5 miles in tennis shoes. No wonder her legs were killing.
Yeah. Right. Did you notice Melissa's Pride maternity outfit?
Yeah.
It was like this rainbow. I'm like, oh, look, Melissa's a supporter, proud supporter.
I could see Melissa being an ally.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. You know she has a gay best friend somewhere that's not seen because it's 1970.
If Falcon Crest was truly rebooted, she would have a gay best friend. I fully believe it.
For sure. Yep. Helping her along with her schemes.
Or they would do something like make Vicky like Victor. Like they'd make her like a gay cousin or something.
Yeah.
All right. Well, episode 6 is titled Home Away from Home. Maggie comes home to find Cole moving out, and he was kind of hoping to be out of there before
he had to confront anyone.
Chase ends up visiting Cole and tries to convince him that he should be with his family, and he meets Catherine. So every time anybody met Catherine, they all got to look like, like on their face. Like, what did you think Catherine was going to look like? Like, what? I didn't really understand the look.
I guess because she's an older woman. That's the only thing I'm guessing.
But wouldn't they assume that she was an older woman?
Didn't look,
running a vineyard.
But she didn't look that much older.
Yeah.
Like, he's what, 21, 22? And
maybe
she
because
looks
she was
like
a
late 30s.
older woman, and they were just like, oh, I don't. Every time anybody met her, they all got like this, like, I get it, like look on their face, like,
yeah, right.
Like, do you want to have sex with her? Like,
I know, right? That's true. Yeah, everybody looked at her like, like the Chase. Didn't I think Chase confront her in this episode, or like met her in this episode, and it was like awkward.
I have Lori tries to deny Lance and his advances for a relationship. I'm not sure, but I think this may be the one where he comes up behind her when she's fishing or crabbing on the bridge.
Yeah. Yeah, she was crabbing, I think.
And he kind of humps her butt because she backs into him.
Right.
Oh!
Jacqueline returned. I was so happy. I knew she was in like the earlier part of the season.
Yeah. It's a brief visit, I feel. It's kind of like I'm still here and stuff. And she doesn't do as much, I feel like, in this episode than she did in the last one she was in.
So I was very confused about the attitude of Jacqueline because I felt like the last time she left, everybody was on good terms and they were like, we're going to try and establish a nice like familial relationship with her. And like Maggie was like telling her to come, like when she was on the phone with Chase.
Right. I guess it's just awkward because they did have moments last time. And then I guess like when she comes back, she knows how she is, so she's like, oh, I don't want to deal with that. Well, with going through Cole's stuff, probably just doesn't want to deal with it.
I guess I just felt like it was kind of contradictory to how like things ended. We were hugging. We were like, "I'm gonna miss you. Come back anytime." And now she wants to come back, and they're like, "No,
Don't have her back.
Fine, we're fine. Stay in Paris."
Right.
Emma calls Chase from Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
I love her so much, man.
And she tells him that she's being followed and trusts him to take care of her proxy. And she ends the phone call by saying she's on the lam. She's going to give him the slip.
On the lam, gotta go.
Julia confronts Lance about his skipping childbirth classes.
Mm-hmm.
He says he and Angela have an agreement that as long as he comes back to the nest, he can do all the bird watching he wants.
Yeah.
This is where I have Angela seems more interested in finding Emma simply for her proxy.
Yeah. Yep.
Melissa follows Lance to Laurie's apartment, and she spots them kissing on the balcony.
Yeah.
So these are the moments where I feel like Melissa really wants to be with Cole, but she also doesn't want to be disrespected in her marriage. And she kind of gets jealous with Lance, even though she doesn't want Lance. She doesn't want anybody other woman to have Lance. Like,
right.
Even though she's not like even like physically, sexually intimate with Lance.
Right.
I don't know. It's weird. That's why I kind of shipped them, because I felt like they had like this push and pull, and I was like, just have sex already.
Yeah, it does seem like that's happening. Yeah.
Maggie meets with Catherine to convince her Cole needs to be with his family.
Right.
Richard offers Julia money for her shares in the New Globe and tells her that he'll help her find Tony.
Mm-hmm.
Angela interrupts and escorts Richard out, and they run into Chase and Jacqueline. And okay, Jacqueline, now that I know what I know about the future, her body language and the way she was looking at Richard, and later on the way she kind of like skips town,
right,
kind of makes sense now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well. Well, Jacqueline. Angela. You don't seem to change very much. Neither do you. Chase told me you were here. Well, it isn't exactly a social occasion. I understand. How long do you plan to stay? As long as I'm needed. And I suppose this handsome young man is your new operations manager? Oh, no. No, this is Richard Channing. Jacqueline Perot. This is Chase's mother.
How do you do?
How do you do?
I've heard so much about you from my associates in Zurich. I feel as if I know you.
I'm afraid you have me at a disadvantage.
Mother, Richard is Douglas Channing's son. He's publishing the Globe now.
Oh, a newspaper man.
The New Globe.
Jacqueline, Chase.
Well, it was nice meeting you, Chase.
Mother, you all right?
Oh.
You haven't seen my office?
Oh, of course. And I want to, dear.
Although I feel like that was an obvious thing, like her leaving town. So they were like, okay, something's up there.
Right.
Yeah,
I thought that was weird too, because I feel like she, knowing what we know, why wouldn't she stay?
Yeah.
But maybe she has to take care of something. I don't know. like I don't know.
Melissa confronts Lance about his affair and starts having severe pain. And it ends with Melissa has to have bed rest for the remainder of her pregnancy because the baby's breached. And Angela orders Lance to be more present for the sake of the baby's life. Cole had a line, I think it was this episode, where he said he felt like he was in a fishbowl being home with the family.
Wait, who said it? Oh, Cole, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't really get
because
that. Like, you're still going through the trial no matter where you're living.
I guess because everybody was up his ass about things, and he's just just feels like trapped.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I kind of get it. I did like the one line that who was it? Angie said to Jacqueline, "You don't seem to change very much, do you?" I'm like, is that a compliment? And I forget what Jacqueline responded. I was just like, "You either," or something. That was a good line, though. I like that.
I liked when Chase told Angela that Jacqueline was in town. Like, her whole demeanor changes. She gets all like defensive and like and he said that he might give her
I
a
don't want her
tour.
here.
He might give her a tour of like the vineyard, and she was like, "Don't let her taste the Zinfandel or whatever. It's like bitter or something like that." She
Yeah.
doesn't want her to judge her because the wine doesn't taste good or something.
Right. And she's like, I don't want her walking around on my land or Falcon Crest property or something. And he's like, well, Philip's like, it's gonna be hard because it's 50% his.
50%, right?
And then remember Cole went to Richard at the end too. Did we say that?
Cole went to Richard. No, we didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't take notes
angry
on that scene because nothing really like advanced in that scene. He just kind of was like, "Stop writing stories about me," and
I know. I wish he would have hit him, but or like, I don't know, just like threw his desk over or something. That's all I got.
Okay. Well, episode 7 is titled "The Namesake," so I kind of was like, "Oh, the baby's probably gonna be born." Lance and Melissa continue to bicker over his affair with Lori and the paternity of the baby. He's very much like keeps bringing up, as soon as this baby's born, we're gonna have a paternity test.
Yeah.
Maggie and Chase visit Cole with his lawyer to tell him the DA will most likely dredge up his past in New York and use him living with an older woman against him in court.
Yeah.
So now this part I didn't understand. So what if he's living with a widowed woman? What does that have to do with anything? There's nothing wrong with that. It's his girlfriend.
I guess in those times, I don't know. I guess because what was it, 1982?
Ish, 81, 82.
I guess it was a thing. Like it could have. I mean, it only would have made him look bad in the public eye, but like I don't really understand.
I just don't understand how that would hurt his murder case that he's living with a widowed woman. Like, because it's
I guess some of the
look at him making all these bad decisions.
Right. I guess it's like a jury thing maybe. I don't know. I was confused by that too.
They said the jury is not going to like that. Why? What does that have to do with anything? That doesn't prove that he's guilty in a murder case.
I guess the jury are a bunch of like old crones that don't put up with that kind of behavior.
Well, it sounds like they need to vet the jury a little bit better then.
Yeah, right. For sure.
Angela catches Melissa snooping through her desk when she should be in bed.
But she was just doing that to talk to Angela though, right? Or was she actually snooping for something?
I think she was snooping for I don't know what she was snooping for, but she was definitely going through records and stuff.
Because remember when she left, she like told, I forget what she told her in that scene. I forget if
she told Angela that she was looking for stationery that didn't have the Falcon Crest logo on it.
Right, but I forget.
I thought the doctor told you to stay in bed.
I was, looking for some stationery. Do you have any without the Falcon Crest emblem on it?
Why didn't you ask Charlie to help you?
I didn't want to bother him.
Melissa, until the baby's born, I don't want you climbing up and down the stairs. Did you find out anything interesting?
I'm sorry, I just glanced at it, and I couldn't put it down. I didn't realize Philip Erickson had become more than just a lawyer to you.
Here's some stationery.
Thank you. Is Lance still out riding?
I didn't know he'd gone out.
With a friend of his, someone by the name of Laurie Stevens.
Hello, Louis? Has my grandson been down to the stable yet? Well, if you see him, you call me immediately.
Oh, Melissa told Angela about Lori. And I think that's what she wanted to do.
That's what she smiled about, yes.
Yeah, she's like, good.
She purposely tells Angela that Lance went riding with a friend, but when she says Lori, like her name, that's because she knows Angela knows who it is. And that's when Angela calls the stables and says to see if Lance has been to the stables and to let her know when he does.
Right.
That's what it was. Because she knew she planted a seed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Richard proposes turning a park into a memorial for Douglas.
Mm-hmm.
Chase is against the idea because it's county property. Richard says he'll get the votes from the board with or without his help. And that's when he pays Nick Hogan a visit, and Nick says that he stands with Chase. Nick has an old-fashioned car that Richard admires, which comes into play later when he's trying to strong arm into voting with him.
Yeah.
Chase threatens to sue Richard and the Globe for harassment if he doesn't stop writing about coal. Angela catches Lance with Laurie at the stables. And she basically demands that he stop seeing her, and he just says that wasn't our agreement, and he rides off.
Yeah, we don't care.
Melissa sneaks out in a rainstorm to see Cole. She tells him the marriage was a mistake and that she doesn't love Lance. And she starts to have severe pains again. And this is when she blurts out to him that he's the father of her baby.
Yep.
What are you doing here?
It's Lance. The marriage. It's all wrong. I have to talk to you.
Why me?
Because we liked each other once. Because we had something special.
Had? About you, isn't it?
All the time we spent together, the picnics, the spring house, it doesn't mean anything to you.
No, not since you married Lance.
I came here because I have something to tell you.
I'm going to take you back to Falcon
No,
Crest.
please. I'm okay.
Catherine?
What is it?
Call an ambulance. Just relax. You'll be fine.
I never made love to anybody but you, Cole. Baby's yours.
Which didn't really feel like a reveal, because I feel like Cole suspected that to begin with.
Yeah.
Even back when, what's his name? Her father was alive.
Carlo. He just died and you forgot him already. And that's not the last we see of Carlo, remember?
Oh yeah, we get a flashback, right? An extended flashback?
A few flashbacks, yeah.
Oh, okay. Where are we? Melissa gives birth to a boy, and she names him Joseph after Lance's great-great-grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
Nick gets a phone call that his store is being messed with by some kids. And when he arrives there, he gets another call and his truck is blown up. The old-fashioned truck that we saw earlier in the episode.
Yeah. Who did that?
Richard shows up the next day with another old-fashioned car. I think doesn't he offer to like sell it to him?
Yeah.
And then Nick shows up at
or
a board
give it to him probably if he sways him or whatever.
And then Nick shows up at a board meeting and proposes to let Richard obtain the park to make it a memorial. And everybody agrees. And she's like, wait, what?
We didn't even talk about it. What's going
on? Cole ends things with Catherine.
Oh, yeah. And he just told her he wanted to stay with her in the last episode.
Right.
So he decided to stay here. Nope.
Lance answers a call from the hospital that the baby has a high fever due to his premature birth and resistance being low. And Angela says if anything happens to this, she holds him responsible. This feels like deja vu. Anytime something tragic happens, she's like, I hold you responsible. This is all your fault. Not just the Lance. She did it with Chase when Douglas had his heart attack, too.
Yeah.
If anything happens to that baby, I hold you responsible.
Yep.
But I just love
it. It's everybody else's fault.
I just love it when Angela has like that accusatory like last line and then it freeze frames on her face.
That's probably where I learned it from. I always blame everybody else.
So I actually like this batch of episodes. All three of them.
Yeah, they were good. It's laying the groundwork. You know, we don't really get too much into who killed Carlo yet, but that's coming. It's kind of just like, you know, Cole is the number one suspect and remains the number one suspect through these episodes.
So in episode 6, they kept saying that his trial was going to start in 2 weeks, Cole's trial. And then in episode 7, they were still saying 2 weeks. I was like, is it the same week? Like, why is it still 2 weeks?
I know, right? It's a long 2 weeks.
It'll be the end of the season. They'll still be like, it's a week away.
I know. Yeah. I know Lance is still trying to get those blood tests for the baby, even though I don't think it'll change anything. That's what Angie says, right? Yeah, she said it doesn't matter if Joseph is Lance's or not. She doesn't care.
Well, he'll still be a Gioberti.
Yeah. I have that Vicky and Nick are running and flirting.
Oh, that was the thing. Because I don't know. I feel like we get some side characters that I don't always recognize if we've seen them before. But when Chase went to go see Nick with Vicky, that was like the reveal that was like, oh, this is my running partner or whatever.
They knew each other.
Probably going to have an affair with, who's married because I love older men. And he's also on the board.
Yeah. At least she's consistent.
That's like her one consistent character like trait. And breaking up.
That's her only story I feel like this season is those two.
I literally was like, oh, I understand why they wrote her out, because like this is all they do with her.
Yeah, they don't write too much for her. So yeah, I guess they didn't need her really, I guess. She does more when she returns, I feel like.
Yeah. And I've only seen like a season and a half of the recast, but they definitely do more with her.
Yeah. It's a shame they didn't do that with this one. I guess there's too much. I think there's too much going on with Richard, because they basically, have a whole other storyline with him. So there was really no room for her, I feel like.
I was gonna say I guess they weren't inspired because they had like new characters that they were like excited to write for, so she just kind of got lost in the woodwork.
Yeah. Hence why she's just running. every episode. Oh.
Poor girl. Do you have anything else to add before we wrap this up?
No, that's all I got.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us for another edition of Don't Touch My Grapes. As always, you can find us on all the socials at Queers and Soaps. Until next time, have a great night, day, whenever you're watching this. Bye.
And how's Tricks? How's Tricks?
How's Tricks?
I gotta go now.
Emma?
I'm on the lam. Bye-bye.